Hi guys, and welcome back to another installment of Secret Graceland. Let's dive in. So let's start in the front of the house and look at some photos of an entire family in the early days of Graceland. Here are gate guards and two of Elvis's uncles, Vester Presley and Travis Smith, in front of the gates facing Elvis Presley Boulevard, in this photo taken by 𝐓𝐢𝐻. Vester is Elvis's dad Vernon's brother, and Travis is Elvis's mom Gladys's brother. Travis is wearing his uniform with EP on his shirt. 𝐓𝐢𝐻 also snapped this cute photo of a young Billy Smith in front of Graceland, representing his older cousin. 𝐓𝐢𝐻 is a singer, Elvis's friend, and later became a huge collector of Elvis memorabilia and others. His book, Inside the Dream, gives candid insight into life at Graceland from an insider's perspective. Lastly, here is Travis's wife and Billy Smith's mother, Lorraine, posing by the front door with a cute little dog in front. So let's go inside and fast forward to the 1980s to look at the early days of the museum. Graceland opened to tourists in June of 1982 and had some changes over the years to what we see now. For example, here is a great picture of the living room credenza area to the left of the fireplace in the living room by photographer William Eggleston. This picture was taken in 1982 and it looks very much like what we see on the tour today, the same painting. Elvis fan David Sensat sent me a bunch of his photos from his 1982 tour of the house, and a couple stuck out to me, like this one of the same spot in the living room. At some point, the paintings were switched. This painting seemed familiar to me, and I finally remembered where I saw it. It's in the background of this 1960s picture of Minnie Mae in the dining room. Here is another of David's photos from 1982 of tour guide and Elvis's first cousin, Billy Smith, standing in the dining room. Let's take a look at something hidden in the dining room, originally shared on Graceland's blog years ago. You might have seen this photo shared before of the little button underneath the head of the table where Elvis sat. This was to alert the waitstaff inside the kitchen. But where? Let's go just inside the kitchen doorway and face the dining room. On the wall on the left is actually Graceland's doorbell. And right below the light switch is where the buzzer would ring when Elvis summoned the cooks, with the buzzer underneath the table. To turn off the buzzer, they had to twist it. The kitchen was not part of the tour until the mid-1990s, when its last resident, Elvis's Aunt Delta, passed away. She needed use of the kitchen, so it remained private until her passing. But here is a look at the kitchen in the 1980s, while this space was off limits to fans. It's interesting to see it naturally and not set up as a museum, with chairs all around the white counter where residents and guests gathered to drink coffee. Another notable thing about the 80s was the carpet. It's not the patchwork quilt print of the mid-70s, and it's not the pattern that we see on the tour today. Let's move out to the jungle room and take a look at something I just realized recently. Here is a still from the home movie of Priscilla being surprised for her 22nd birthday party in 1967. We've covered in previous episodes that the couple is standing in the jungle room, or den as they called it, right in front of the staircase that leads up to the sun deck. It has a wrought iron railing. But I only just realized something about the staircase. Again, this footage is from 1967. Now let's look at this shot of Elvis, Priscilla, and Lisa Marie taken the following year, 1968, right in the middle of this room. Behind them is the small bar under the stairs, and we can see by this time that wall has the wood paneling that we see today, and the staircase is totally enclosed in wood. Here is that same view now. From where we stand across the room, we can't see the bar and its contents very well, but here is a close-up of the metal tray that sits on it. It has their image from their wedding, and it says, "With this ring I thee wed, Priscilla 𝐓𝐢𝐻, Elvis Presley, May 1st, 1967. Let's look at one more photo from fan David Sensat's summer 1982 tour of Graceland. The early days of Graceland as a museum were really different than what we see today. There were human tour guides, and the house was set up a little bit differently. In this view, the projector and screen was set out in the jungle room, much like how Elvis and his guests watch TV. But I haven't seen this projector in the last 23 years that I've been visiting Graceland. Now, the cabinet that the screen sat on, which has a turntable inside, is against the back wall. Now let's take our tour upstairs to Elvis's bedroom, sort of. Photographer Ruby Bell took this photo of Olivia DeJonge, who played Priscilla in the 2022 Elvis movie, sitting in the replica of his upstairs bedroom. Director Baz Luhrmann got to go inside Elvis's bedroom and created the movie set based on his experience. So while this isn't the real deal, it's an amazing peek into what Baz witnessed. One more tidbit about the upstairs, Elvis's bathroom specifically. I don't have much information on this, it's just something I came across and thought was interesting. Here is a picture of Elvis's 𝐓𝐢𝐻 ring from jordanselvisworld.com. I'm not a jewelry person, and this is just a quick story that I found that I believe came from Jimmy Velvet. Quote, "There's the ring from the Shah of Iran. Elvis wore it proudly until, legend has it, he watched a TV news report about the Shah's secret police killing women and children. Disgusted, Elvis threw the ring in the toilet, flushed it, and walked away. But the ring was too heavy to flush. Elvis's grandmother, Minnie Mae, retrieved the ring, and after her famous grandson died, sold it to Velvet." We've looked at some great photos from Jimmy Velvet from the front of the house. Now let's look at the backyard. There are very few photos of the back of Graceland when the garage was still there, so this is a fantastic look of what it looked like before all the changes that Elvis would make. Originally, there was a 4-car garage, which was of course way too small for Elvis. See in the porch hallway, the doorway in the little alcove in the back of the house? That was originally the entrance to the servants' quarters, later Aunt Delta's bedroom. Today, that door still looks just like that, but is covered behind heavy curtains behind you when you stand at the cutout to look out into the jungle room. The 2 windows to the right of the door are for that bedroom, and they also still exist, again, behind curtains. That's why it looks a little strange that there's exterior doors and windows inside the house, because they used to be outside. See the side door that goes into the garage? That's this door at the end that leads to the annex, or currently a VIP exhibit space. In this photo, this is that former porch hallway. If you're standing right here, the jungle room is on the right, and the door to Aunt Delta's bedroom is on your left. You go into that space beyond that open door, and the bedroom windows are behind a curtain to your left, former garage and annex ahead, and we exit the house through a door on the right. Let's look at a picture of Elvis with a fan that you might have seen, and let's dig into where it was taken. Here's Elvis posing with a fan in the very early days of Graceland. The structure of the house has changed a lot back then, and that includes this spot where they're standing. So they're obviously outside with a door behind, steps with a railing, and they're close to a window on the side of the house. Let's look at a photo of the back of Graceland in 1957, published in the Memphis Press Scimitar. See the railing in the middle? There's a railing for the steps coming down from that door, as well as around the steps that lead down to the basement. These are the green shag basement stairs that we go up on the tour, up to see the jungle room. There's that back door Elvis and the fan were standing near, as well as the window on the side of the wall. That window leads to the bird room, which is still exactly the same, and so is that window. We'll look at that in a second. And the door that leads into the kitchen. That door and the 2 windows to the right of it are gone today. It's the pass-through to the jungle room den, which was added in 1965. That's the bird room window that Elvis and the lady were standing next to. It used to be outside, but now it's just part of the jungle room. Want to see something else that's cool? Here's another shot of that same moment with the fan. This time, more of the house is in frame. Look at the bottom right of the photo. We can see a smidge of the railing that leads down to the basement. Again, this is now the staircase that's covered in the green shag carpeting. See the light affixed to the wall right underneath there? Right in line with Elvis's foot. That is this light right here. It's in the same spot in the staircase down to the basement. Lastly, we're going to look at a picture that you might have seen and discuss what it is and where it is. Elvis and Priscilla's wedding was a somewhat small event considering how many friends and family members they have. In order to include everyone, the couple held a second wedding reception at Graceland in the trophy building later that month. This party included Gary Pepper. If you don't know who Gary was, he had cerebral palsy and was not just a huge Elvis fan, but was his friend and included in his friend group. If you want to know more about Gary and his story, I've created a handful of videos about him that I invite you to check out. Here is Elvis, Priscilla, and Gary all sitting together during the party. Notice behind them on the wall is a large horse and a strip of wallpaper. Remember, that wedding reception was held in the trophy building. Now here is a look at that spot in the 1970s. In this view, the mansion is behind you, the Hall of Gold is to the right, and the exit to the pool is straight ahead. The room has changed, but what stayed the same is on the left wall, a gold couch underneath a large horse decoration and a strip of gold wallpaper. This is that spot. That couch can currently be seen in the music room. So this view of this area in the trophy building from the 1970s now looks like this. And this 1967 photo of these three seated was taken in this spot. And that is it. What was your favorite part? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.